Hello and welcome to the Section 10.5 application walkthrough. This is the last section in Unit 10, and so you guys are doing pretty good on this stuff. This is more complicated than the previous two terms. Excuse me. More complicated than the previous two terms have been. So if you guys are still working through this at a steady pace, congratulations, you're doing pretty good at learning, or at least knowing your material. In the first two problems here, it's just like problems that we've seen, except for the fact that these are differences of squares. So for instance, if I was going to factor this left side, I would know that I have x plus 6 and x minus 6. And that equals 0. I think you know what to do from here using your zero product property, saying that if two things multiply to give you 0, either one has to be 0 or the other one has to. So I think that you can handle that from there. I want to look at these next two problems because they're fairly difficult. It tells me here that the area is 23 inches squared, and I know the two dimensions of the rectangle. So to find the area, I want to multiply those together. And that's going to equal 23. Okay, so when I do that, I get 3a squared. Let's see, minus 15a plus 5a and minus 25. And that still equals 23. So I'm going to do two things in this step. I'm going to move the 23 over by subtracting 23 from both sides, and I'm going to combine my like terms right here. So that would say that 3a squared minus 10a minus 25 equal, oh sorry, not minus 25. Let me actually do that. That'll be minus 48. 25 minus 23 is 48. It's kind of difficult to see. But then that equals 0, so that's kind of a big deal. Okay. In this section, we were solving by graphing. Or sorry, not solving by graphing, solving by factoring. So it would tell me that the next thing I need to do is to factor this. So I can do that. Two things that multiply to give me 3 times 48, or negative 48, is negative 144. And the two things are going to add up to negative 10. So you could start with the negative 144, but I'm going to go ahead and look at something a little bit smaller. I'm going to say negative 36. I'm going to start with this, negative 36 and 4. When I add those together, I'm going to get negative 32. So that's still quite a bit too big, but let's just keep on going. Let's see, maybe 32. That doesn't work. Let's try, so I'm just trying random things, which probably isn't the best way to do this. Obviously, if I use negative 12 and positive 12, they would add up to 0, so I don't want to be that far. But I'm just looking here. Now, let's go negative 18 would be the next one. And negative 144 divided by 18 is going to give us 8. And those are different by negative 10. So if you remember on the factoring, you have 3a, let's go minus 18, and then 3a plus 8 equals 0. That's all divided by 3. I can factor a 3 out of this. Let me zoom in a little bit. I'm getting a little tight on room. When I factor a 3 out of that, I get a minus 6. And the 3's are going to cancel. So we have a minus 6 and 3a plus 8 equals 0. From there, what you want to do is use your zero product property and solve for what a would be. Okay, so you can see where these problems are a little bit more difficult. Number 4 is definitely easier than number 3, so at least I got you started quite a ways on that. From there, again, just use your zero product property and you'll be fine. Gosh, excuse me. So on number 5 here, it's very similar to an application problem on the last section, where I just want you to plug in values for x into this equation and figure out what the f of x value would be. Graph that over here, okay? Then I want you to factor this into two binomials, and then I'm asking for a connection between the x-intercepts and the factored form. I'm going to go ahead and let you try that problem. You know, I did one just like it yesterday, or on the last section, so if you want to see kind of how to get this set up, go ahead and look at that one again, get a quick refresher. But if you have any questions on that, feel free to let me know, and we'll work through it together. That's the beauty of doing class this way. I'm not sending you home with these difficult problems. Remember that we're doing these, you know, you're working on these independently and getting help when you need it. So, good luck on the Mastery Challenge. We will see you later.